Hey there. It's you. Don't mind me. I'm just enjoying my restorative bath. You feel me? I will be with you momentarily. What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Sham, back with another video, man. Finally, I'm able to upload something on Wild Hearts. I know y'all been waiting on this. Maybe you haven't, I don't know. But if you like this type of content and you want to support your boy, make sure you leave a like on this video so YouTube know that y'all fuck with me. And on top of that, comment down below what's your favorite weapon in Wild Hearts if you're playing right now. And most importantly, subscribe to the channel. It helps, it helps, it helps. It's free. It's completely free. I say that every time. Also, turn on those notifications so you don't miss another banger video, you dig? Today I wanted to get into my review when it comes to Wild Hearts because I've been playing a shit ton of this game. I'm literally at 150 hours, I think, somewhere around there. It's been a journey, to say the least. I've enjoyed things about this game, and there's things that, you know, could be fixed with this game. I can't lie. It's not perfect, but it's pretty damn good, and it's a few steps away from being perfect. Yeah, we'll start off with like what is Wild Hearts in general. It's the Monster Hunter killer. Not really, but it's in the hunter-like genre. Basically, they you could tell that they were fans of Monster Hunter. They wanted to come into the genre and put their own spin to it. I don't think they came into the game trying to kill Monster Hunter, but you know, when you have different games in the same genre, you know they're all competing for a spot, so I respect it. I think Monster Hunter will take a lot of notes from this game, you know, and basically Wild Hearts has the same formula. You link up with your friends and you go on these quests to hunt monsters, and each monster that you hunt give you materials for different weapons that you can build in the game, and different armor, and all the armor and the weapons are based off the monsters that you fight. And it has a story mode that it's okay, you know, it's nothing revolutionary or anything like that, but it is a pretty decent story mode. I will say the only one thing that I hate about the story mode in general are that the characters are very long-winded and they talk very, very slow. I don't know why, but I hope when the DLC comes that we get some faster voice actors. No offense, but that's kind of my only gripe with the story mode. But the game is set in you know, in a fictional land called Azuma, and it kind of resembles feudal Japan. That's basically the setting, and you play, you know, your traditional hunter that has come to save everybody in a city that he don't know shit about. But we do it anyway, because that's what we're supposed to do. And basically the hook to this game is that it has a mechanic like Fortnite. It's not Fortnite, but it has a mechanic like Fortnite called Katakuri. It helps you around during your hunts. It helps you do a bunch of cool, insane attacks using it. It helps you traverse around the environment. It helps you build certain things like camps, campfires, forges, all types of shit, man. Moving on from what is Wild Hearts, we'd like to talk about the kimono. The main reason why you play this game, the monsters in the game. Kimono just is another word for the monsters, basically. And there are 21 of them. The elemental properties that they exude go further than Monster Hunter though, as a kimono can alter and modify the environment to suit their nature, such as the Dreadclaw sprouting grass and other plants while in rage mode while we were on a beach area of the map. I thought that was super, super cool. Whenever they go into rage, they're able to change the environment around them to better suit, you know, the fight for the monster. This game kind of reminds me of Horizon, where the monsters in Horizon were able to basically connect themselves to technology. They blended themselves with technology. And in this game, it's kind of similar. The monsters all feed off of a celestial thread. It's kind of like Avatar, like how everything is stemmed from the main tree in Avatar, and everything has this rooted ecosystem basically. And the monsters monsters basically across time have mutated with the nature, and they've become one with it. So it's real spiritual sounding when you think about it, but I really enjoy fighting the monsters. You have your giant kimonos and you have your small kimonos, and then you have, your smaller creatures. And the giant kimonos are the main monsters that you're going to fight, and they range from normal difficulty to mighty difficulty to volatile difficulty, and then deeply volatile. And deeply volatile is the hardest version of a monster so far in Wild Hearts, but you're able to go back in each point and play any of these monsters as you see fit. Based on which level that you're fighting them at, they might have different materials that you can farm from them. So you have to pay attention to which monster that you're fighting in the 5 chapters of this game. There's 5 chapters within the story, so every time you go to a new chapter, monsters tend to change. But I don't think monsters change enough, if I would say that. That's my one gripe with it. I don't think that they change move sets enough. I don't think there is enough of kimono in the game. I think 21 is a decent starting spot, but I would love to see this game get to at least like 40 monsters when it's all said and done, and I think that'll make the game have more variety and more fluidity to the matchups that you have, and the weapons that you choose to bring into battle, and the gear that you choose to bring into battle. Right now, the monsters just kind of seem like they're not in the forefront when it comes to gear. They are in the forefront when it comes to weapons. I think weapons has been Wild Heart's main focus when it comes to playing this game, unlike Monster Hunter, where your gear matters as much as your weapons do. But yeah, the monsters are super fun to fight in general. The combat is super smooth, and they do have different move sets, from monster to monster, but fighting the same monster at different levels doesn't feel like there's too much change other than just a health pool being increased, and I think that can be worked on. Next up, we have Katakuri. Katakuri is basically this game's hook, this game's selling point. It's one of the most important things when it comes to playing Wild Hearts. You basically have to use it on every hunt. If you choose to play this game without using Katakuri, then you might as well play Monster Hunter, because this game wants you to use Katakuri. It demands that you do so. Katakuri, which literally translates to mechanisms, are probably the most interesting elements that Wild Hearts introduces, and it certainly offers the most versatile in terms of changing up what would any other way be a repetitive gameplay loop. As the hero, you possess an ancient knowledge that allows you to craft Katakuri in the blink of an eye using a mystical resource known as Katakuri Thread. I just think this is one of the coolest things that I've ever done in a hunter like in general. I know it's basically Fortnite in a hunter like, but it's way more than that. It's very, very cool. The Katakuri is split up into 3 different types: basic, fusion, and dragon. The basic Katakuri includes things such as boxes that you use to pounce on enemies with a special attack, a spring with iframes that you can use to plunge towards a monster with an attack, and my favorite has to be the glider that allows you to fly a great distance, and it has an attack that you can use out of it as well. As far as fusion Katakuri goes, they are combinations of the basic Katakuri, and it creates a whole new construct. Some fusions are unlocked by progressing through the story, while others are given to you in what I like to call a premonition or an awakening. I know other people call it different things, but that's just kind of how I feel. This happens when you are fighting specific monsters in the world, and it creates like this slowdown effect in the game that gives you time to make the new construct in the heat of the battle. Like it'll pop up in the middle of the battle, and the cool thing about it is that you could miss it. Like you could totally miss the premonition or the awakening if you're not paying attention. So I really enjoyed that. When I first saw this in the game, I freaked out and missed my buttons. I hope you had better luck than me, because I didn't know what was going on. The awakening fusions are basically teaching moments in the game to the player on how to directly counter a particular monster in Wild Hearts with a specific Katakuri fusion. So I really love that about this game. The Dragon Katakuri are special permanent constructs that are similar to base building in something like No Man's Sky, except whatever Dragon Katakuri that you build never disappears. It's there for the entire journey in Wild Hearts. But my personal favorite Dragon Katakuri is the Flying Vine, because it allows you to zip around the map and create shortcuts for yourself running everywhere sucks, man. It just sucks. I'm gonna tell y'all now. Like, if you run everywhere, if I link up with you as a random in one of your missions, man, please, for the love of God, guys, please have y'all traversal right. Because I can't tell you how many times I've played with people that don't have zip lines or don't have any launchers or don't have any camps for that matter. Like, their camps are just not set. I played the other day with the dude who had one camp on the entire map, and it was like we was running everywhere. I was getting so heated. So I just hope that y'all take my advice, build the Dragon Katakuri, increase your dragon pit capacity, because don't nobody wanna come out there with you and we gotta run everywhere, bro. That's not the point of the game. And I will say my biggest disappointment when it came to Dragon Katakuri was the roller vehicle, because it's Dragon Katakuri. I was excited seeing it from the trailers, but it sucks you can't build it on the fly as a fusion Katakuri. It being a Dragon Katakuri means it takes up dragon pit capacity. Hence meaning you can only use it for certain areas or stay on it the entire time, you know, and that can be a pain because the way it was advertised in the trailers, it made it feel like it was going to be another basic Katakuri in the same brand as the glider was. But I understand why it's not, because then if it was a basic, you'd be able to fuse it with other things and turn it into other things. But it sucks knowing that you really can't use the roller vehicle as much as you might like. You know, you won't be able to do some of the cool things that I thought you would be able to do in the trailers. And I think that's one of my biggest issues with Dragon Katakuri. But overall, Katakuri is the meat and potatoes of this game, and it makes the game a joy to play. Outside of having smooth combat, I think Katakuri is what's going to separate Wild Hearts from any other hunter-like in this genre. It basically makes the whole game unique, and I'm super happy that they decided to go with this decision, because it just adds a little extra spice to the game, and I appreciate it. Next up, we have weapons and armor. Probably the next most important thing when it comes to this game. The whole reason you play it is to get the best weapons in the game, get the best armor in the game, so you can go out and slay monsters easier and easier every time that you go out. Wild Hearts in total gives you 8 different weapons, 3 of which that are locked behind the story progression. The first 5 you start out with are the katana, the nadachi, the bow, the maul, and the bladed wagasa. And after completing chapter 2, there's also the hand cannon, the claw blade, and the katakuri staff that become available. And upgrading these weapons are super dope. And I feel like I've been on record saying that the weapons matter more than the armor in this game. Whether or not you like that or hate that is up to you, because I know in Monster Hunter you're able to do a lot of cool things with your armor, and armor means a lot, and weapons mean a lot as well. But the reason why weapons are better in this game than Monster Hunter is because their skill tree allows you to mix different perks from all monsters in the game. In Monster Hunter, you have to build a weapon specifically in the category or the tree for every specific monster. Like, you can only choose one monster to make a weapon for. In this game, you're able to go to the weapon tree and create whatever you want. You can min-max a weapon, or you can just go for the highest DPS weapon in the game straight to it without getting any of the small little traits that you might need along the way. But you are able to go up and down, left and right, and weave all through the weapon tree. And I think that is the coolest thing that has happened in a Monster Hunter like game. And so I really appreciated, you know, the fact that the weapon tree was so detailed in the things that you're able to do. And when you finally get a chance to min-max a weapon, you really get to see the true power that you wield in your hands. And a lot of weapons in this game get stupid powerful. Right now, I feel like the bow is the most powerful weapon in the game. It's also the most spammy weapon in the game. You're able to use Celestial Thread and get in and out of your attacks like crazy, and bypass a lot of meter mechanics that you would have to use. Every weapon in this game, for the most part, has a meter that you fill up to use a special ability with your weapon. Like the katana, for instance, when you get enough hits with it, it fills up this gauge, and then you're allowed to turn your katana into like a whip, and it like breaks into a bunch of pieces, and you're able to do all these whip attacks with your katana. The blade wagasa is probably one of the most unique weapons in the game, because it's the only weapon in the game that allows you to parry. So you can fill up its meter by getting parries, and then once you fill it all the way up, that thing turns into a freaking great sword almost. Like, it just hits like a truck after that. And then probably the hardest weapon in the game, in my opinion, is the Katakuri staff, because that weapon is like 5 weapons in one, and you have to like basically animation cancel to fill up your meter. So every time you hit them, your character will glow up, and then you're able to basically hit the R2 button and turn it into these different states until you fill out the meter. And then at the end of it, you get this Unga Boonga Final Fantasy looking sword that does massive damage, probably the most damage in the game. But if you master the Katakuri staff, it will be one of the best weapons in the game that allows you to feel interactive with the fight, unlike the bow where you can kind of just spam the barrage of arrows and it doesn't really feel like you're doing much. You're doing a lot of damage, but you're not really there. You're kind of like on autopilot. But overall, the weapons are great to use, and I would advise y'all to take that very seriously and try to min-max as much as possible. So let's move on to the armor. I feel like armor really doesn't matter as much as it has in Monster Hunter. Most of the time, this game gives you the armor from the animals that you fight, but they go from, you know, your regular armor, you know, then you're all the way up to your volatile armor. And, you know, you have to fight your volatiles and your deeply volatiles with your maxed out weapon and your maxed out gear. But I feel like gear only deems to the point where you choose human path or kimono path. There's really no in between. You can't activate certain gear pieces that have a perk on them for kimono path without speccing into kimono path. You have to spec into kimono path to unlock certain traits on different gear, which is a cool idea, but I think gear could use a different mechanic to it, make it easier to blend certain things together so you could take advantage of some of the human traits, like still have like some human traits and still have some kimono traits. But other than that, I really feel like the gear is basically just up to you most of the time. What you feel like you want to have. You want to have things for more survivability. You want to have things for more attack. You want to have more things for that's like quality of life, such as deaf ears, being able to not get interrupted when the monster roars, shit like that. It's really simple when it comes to the armor, and that's kind of my only gripe with the weapons and armor section. I think weapons are in a great place. I think armor can be worked on. All right, and finally, we're getting to my final thoughts, and we're gonna talk about the end game. Overall, I feel Wild Hearts has built a solid foundation. I really do. You know, to improve on it for the future. I think this game has a lot of upside and has a lot of potential. You know, I'm excited to see where the journey takes us. We all know Monster Hunter is the godfather of hunter likes, but I do believe Wild Hearts has done a great job at making their game something very unique. The Katakuri and weapon systems are great in my opinion, along with the fast-paced but simple movement system that I feel Monster Hunter never quite mastered in my opinion. This game feels like Neo, DMC, and Monster Hunter had a baby. That's genuinely what I say every time I play this game, every time I stream it. I feel like the combat is one of the many bright spots in the game. You know, the game just plays smoothly, so it's easy to get in and do your moves, but it takes a lot to master what you're doing. It had a bit of a rocky start, you know, with the performance issues from certain platforms, but I'm here to tell you it never stopped me from playing the game. Like, not one bit. I literally have 150 hours in the game. I've only had a few times where the game felt unplayable, but other than that, for I would say 146 of my hours, the game has ran pretty okay, man. It hasn't deterred me from doing anything. I've been having too much fun. I do feel like endgame is very underwhelming, you know, because the only purpose of it is to test your builds and earn enough materials to create transmogs, and I just think that's bad. Getting those materials are a pain, and the monsters you need to farm they're in a rotation. Constant rotation, so it prolongs the grind even more. You have to wait for your monster to come back around after you fought in an area in order to fight that monster. And the area and the monster orbs you need aren't guaranteed drop rate. So even when you wait that cycle out and try to fight another monster, the orbs aren't guaranteed to drop for it. And each piece of gear, you know, it'll have like 5 orbs that you need. So you have to get like an equivalent of 20 orbs, but that doesn't mean that you're gonna fight a monster 20 times, you know what I'm saying, and get 5 orbs. Like it just doesn't, you know, it just doesn't work out. So I really hope they fix the drop rate in the future and give us a more meaningful end game where we can possibly earn deeply volatile armor sets, more money, and super buff talismans. I really didn't talk about talismans that much because they kind of don't matter. They're just extra stats. You know, they're just extra stats to put on your gear. And what's cool about this game is not every build will be the same, because let's say if you have a build where you have to run Resurrection. Resurrection is one of the perks in the game that allows you to take one hit after you've lost all your health. It's a defy death mechanic. For instance, I have a talisman that has Resurrection on it. So any build videos that I've watched where they make builds where they run a certain pair of legs that give you Resurrection, I don't have to run those legs because I have a talisman that does Resurrection already. So those are things that are really cool about this game when it comes to talismans, but talismans are RNG. Not everybody's gonna have the same talismans, but there are certain talismans around the map that allows you to get a talisman that everyone can have, the same exact talisman. I don't know how many of them there are because I haven't found all of them, but you're basically able to create different builds based off the talismans that you have. And I think that's really, really dope. But I need in-game to give us better talismans. I don't need them giving us basic talismans that we can get from fighting a normal monster or a volatile monster or you know, a deeply volatile monster. I just feel like we need more incentive in this in-game, because as y'all know, I've grinded this game 150 hours and now I'm to the point where I really don't care about getting the transmogs. You know, we have to hope that they give us deeply volatile gear. Buff talismans, please, buff talismans, and give us more money. Make it worth our while. I would love for deeply volatile gear to have an extra trait slot, you know, that we can re-roll whenever we want it, and it lock the other traits on the gear or something. So right now I think we get like 5 perks. I think I would like to see it go to 6, and you know, it'll just lock out when we re-roll. But then the grind would be, okay, well, we need to grind another monster of that same category and just get a new piece and re-roll it all together. So that's what the grind would be. I think that would be really, really dope. But we just got to keep the faith that they'll iron out everything and that we'll truly be able to consider this game as one of the best games of all time. So with that being said, out of a score of 10, I'd have to give Wild Hearts an 8.5 out of 10. I hope y'all enjoyed this review and definitely give this game a try. I promise you, it will feel like cracking the 80s for real. Like, it is very, 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 very addictive, and as long as you're playing with friends, that makes it even more. But even playing by yourself, I played a lot of this game by myself. I just couldn't get off of it. I was having too much fun. I've had fun trying to come up with all these video ideas that I have for y'all in the future, you know. So if I'm allowed to say it's like cracking the 80s, YouTube, allow me to say that, but that's genuinely how it feels to play this game. So play it, trust me. Make sure you leave a like on this video, comment your favorite weapon in the game, and most importantly, don't forget to subscribe and turn on those notifications so you don't miss another banger video, man. For real. Remember, I fuck with you because you fuck with me, and if you don't fuck with me, then finish that, bruh. I'ma catch y'all in the next one. Peace.